Welcome, Carl, to Unabashed You. It is just a delight and a pleasure to meet you today.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Yes, Anastasia of Access Speakers is the one that introduced us, and I know we both think highly of her and Lena and her team. And it's kind of like E.F. Hutton when she says something, I want to listen. So,
You,
and that's
yes,
that's a dated reference. The younger people will not know. You'll have to look it up on YouTube.
right. Oh, yes, yes, we're aging ourselves here, aren't we?
Yes, that's okay. That's okay. All right, Carl. Well, yeah, once again, welcome. Is there anything you want listeners to know as we get started here?
Yes. Now, I've been listening to your podcast, and one of the reasons I'm here is because I think it's very valuable that people get in touch with who they really are.
Yes.
And that's hard to do, particularly in the modern world. It's very hard to do. People need to find out what they really want. And that's not easy. It really isn't. They need to discover that. And I was born a short, cross-eyed kid with a profound stutter.
Oh, goodness.
And I had to figure out what I wanted to do. And at 7 years old, I saw the movie Lawrence of Arabia on
Oh.
one of those huge screens in a luxury palace theater. And that's when I decided what I wanted to do. Of
Hmm.
course, I had a profound stutter and I was cross-eyed, so of course I wanted to be an actor. Of course. But what it did is it took me out of myself and my problems and gave me a vision of something beyond myself that I wanted to
Right.
be. And I pursued it. And I became an actor and a director. And by being an actor and being on stage, I lost the stutter.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
an operation fixed the eyes.
Hmm.
Couldn't fix the short part. Couldn't fix that. But 2 out of 3 is not bad.
Oh, I think that is really speaks to the passion that we have at a young age, and then also your conviction and your desire that, well, that's what I want to do. And these other things, this is not going to stop me. That idea of it could have been a roadblock for a lot of people, but you said, no, I'm going to overcome this somehow.
Yeah.
And you did. And that is wonderful. And then earlier you said, oh, let's see. I just I lost my train of thought. Oh, that we need to discover who we are. And yes, I maintain that we many of us don't really know ourselves all that well. And I think that there's so much value in having some of that information
Mm.
because then you can, with that information, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I understand myself better. Oh, and you can be more compassionate with yourself.
Right. And here's the thing, and a lot of people may disagree with me here. This is probably a little controversial,
It's okay.
but a lot of people plan their lives.
Mm,
They plan it out. I never did. The only thing I planned was that I wanted to be an actor. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just went with the flow. I knew what I wanted. I knew what I really, really wanted. And I let what come.
oh, that's great. That is
Um,
so great.
and I think if more people just did that, don't plan. And
Hmm.
I say this is where, it gets controversial. Just follow it.
Hmm.
It's amazing when opportunity knocks open the door.
Right. And that's its own kind of plan in the sense that if you're letting it unfold, you will be led to the opportunities. And when they come up,
The
you
energy
know,
takes you there. The energy
yes,
takes you there.
seize that opportunity.
Yeah.
What three words would you use to describe yourself, Carl?
Um, relentless if interested.
I like the caveat. I love that.
No, I'm not good at things that I'm not interested in.
That makes
How,
perfect sense to me.
yeah, how about that? Yeah,
So are those all three of your words kind of all tied into
that's
one
it.
thought?
Yep.
Okay, yes. Relentless if interested. Okay. I really like that. Okay, now have you ever played Two Truths and a Lie where you say three things about yourself and I see if I can tell which one is the lie?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Um, well, of course, I've already given one of mine away. Um, so no, no, wait. I don't think I have I?
Okay.
Um, First of all, that I was uh, let's let's put this forward that I was accepted to and graduated from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art
Okay.
in in London. Two, I'm really handy with tools.
Mm,
Number three, I became a director of information technology for a
mm,
major West Coast company.
mm, mm,
So, so
mm.
which one's a lie?
Well, I do know you have an acting background, but as to all
Hmm?
the specifics, I'm not sure. And I know you became a director. I don't know exactly what of. Maybe it was the East Coast, not the West Coast, but something about number two, being handy with tools. I'm feeling like that's the lie. How'd I do?
Yeah, that is the lie. Yeah. Now I became a director in theater, but later on in life, when I went into business, when I found that much to my shock, and again, not planning my life, uh, I I went to the corporate world and went through companies like the Walt Disney Company and Smart and Final on the West Coast, which is a major West Coast company. But I finally ended my corporate career as a director of information technology, which if you had told me that's what I would end up doing, a theater major in college and then going to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, I would have told you you were crazy.
Well, that's the beauty of life. You just
Yeah,
don't know what's around the corner, and the fact that you're open to it really speaks well of the fact that you have a sense of adventure and you want to make the most of the opportunities you're given.
right.
Carl, what's one of your favorite movies of all time?
Oh, it has to be Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, it just has to be. It altered my life.
Oh,
I walked in there a 7-year-old kid and walked out a changed person with a desire. I mean, I walked out. My mother was outside in the car waiting for me. I got in the car and she said, "Well, how'd you like that?" And I said, "I want to do that.
oh,
I want to do what Peter O'Toole did there." And she said, "What? Go to Arabia?" I said, "No, I want to take people to places in their minds, in their heads. That's what I want to do."
wow. That's so, I don't want to say it. Well, being able to convey that at that age, I think is really remarkable.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll tell you, and I'll tell you a quick story here. My first day at the Royal Academy, when the classes were over and the building was largely empty, I just wanted to go through all the different rooms and get a feel for the place. And I walked into this one room, and up on the wall was this cabinet with wooden doors. And I opened the doors, and inside was the Bancroft Award, which they give to in each graduating class of only 21 people. By the way, they only
Wow.
accept 21 people out of thousands of people who auditioned for it. And I looked up there, and there was the signatures of a who's who
Mm,
of British acting, going all the way back to Charles Laughton and people like that. And I came down, and there he was, Peter O'Toole.
wow.
And now in those days there was no internet, and I had no idea that Peter O'Toole had
Mm,
graduated from the Royal Academy. And at that moment, I knew I had come to the right place. I was
that's right.
home.
Oh, I love that. That is so great. Who is a person that inspires you?
I have to tell you, my grandfather.
Hmm.
My grandfather was born in 1888 in Denver, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
His father was a police surgeon. They didn't have first responders, ambulances and all that back in those days. And in 1905, he was killed in a shootout.
Oh gosh.
But my grandfather went on to become a lawyer,
Mm.
and ultimately a judge in Beverly Hills.
Wow.
And he saw that I was interested in the arts. Well, so was he. And nobody in his family, from his daughter, my mother, nobody in his circle was interested in the arts, but he saw that I was. And so he sort of saw that he had a little companion. And he introduced me to classical music, to plays, to opera, to bought
Mhm.
me okay, this will date me, a hi-fi stereo and a whole set of classical records. And he got me going.
Oh,
He
wow.
got me going in all of this. And to this day, he inspires me. And
Mm,
when I went to UCLA in the theater department, I was living with him when he passed away. But he is
mm.
somebody that inspires me to this very day. He's
A great legacy, and it's so beautiful. I'm
absolutely.
thankful for grandfathers like that.
Yeah.
What is a piece of wisdom you keep handy?
Piece of wisdom that I keep handy. I would say um, a real mentor of mine in the theater, but this works everywhere, not just in the theater, which is today's great reviews, no matter how good they are tomorrow's birdcage liner. And that goes for the bad reviews too.
Yes.
Get
Yes.
past it. Get
Yes.
past it. The good ones and the bad
Yeah,
ones.
it's one person's opinion. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sad in a way that sometimes the bad ones have had such an impact uh, in such a negative way.
Hmm.
Those who take those sorts of things personally, which
Yes.
I would probably be in that category. So I'm understanding that how tough and rough that would be.
Yeah. But the good ones can wreck you too.
Well, yeah, because then you can like believe it too much or
Yes.
think too
You,
highly of yourself.
yeah,
Yes.
you start believing your own press. Mm.
Very good point. Well, Carl, we're in our deep dive now, and we are in the series It's Raining Men. What do they really think? So, and we have this opportunity to connect. Let's find out what some of your thoughts are around these questions.
Yeah.
So we know that you looked up to your grandfather growing up. Is there a man that is currently inspiring you beyond your grandfather?
I have to tell you, no.
No. Okay.
I things have gone really off the rails in
Yes.
recent times, and I don't find anyone inspiring to today. The last people that did inspire me were the people that I worked with at Disney back in the 1990s. They were
Mm,
fantastic, and they inspired me about business. Uh, my partner and I founded a consulting company, and it worked out beautifully. Everything good that I know about business, I learned at Disney. The
mm,
next company I went to, and I won't name them, taught me everything bad about
mm,
business, how a business can be really awful and run
mm.
badly, and which was terrific. What an education to have them right next
Oh,
to each other. It was
right.
perfect. I don't regret it at all to
No,
have
because you
them right
learn.
next to each other. So, but the people that I worked with at the Walt Disney Company were spectacular.
Mm.
Fabulous people. We're still friends, and in
Oh,
fact, the VP I worked with there, he hired me into another company,
oh,
and boy, was I glad he did.
oh, that speaks highly of both of you.
Yeah.
So, what do you think makes a man a man?
I think a man should, a real man, uh, someone who's not afraid to do what he's afraid of.
Ooh, love that.
That is, that's real courage.
Ooh, so good.
If it doesn't scare you, there's no courage there. But if you're
Wow.
afraid of it and you do it anyway, hmm,
Hmm.
uh, that's a man. And I've done several things in my life that I was terrified of, and I did it because I was terrified of it,
Right. Yes.
just to prove that to myself that that I could do it. And someone, and this is a tough one for many, perhaps even tougher, someone not afraid to feel deeply,
Mm, very
not
good.
to push it aside.
But allow it and be in it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Fabulous. What moves you?
I have a little bit of a list there. First of all, Beethoven
Okay.
moves me deeply. Um, Judy Garland
Mm,
singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
mm-hmm,
I just thinking about it moves me.
mm, mm.
And in the end, people rising above what life gave them.
Yes.
When I see people who are born with handicaps, people that were born into broken families under the worst conditions possible, and they rise above it, that moves me.
Mm. That moves me too.
I had it easy. I was adopted, and I
Ah.
and I won the jackpot.
Mm,
I was adopted into the best parents that anybody could ever ask for. They supported me
mm,
all the way. Whatever I wanted to do, they made sure I was able to do it even during tough times for them. They
mm,
made sure I could go to college. They made sure I could go to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, um, all the way.
mm.
And so, yeah, that's uh, but so many people don't have that.
Right. Well, what a gift. What an absolute gift.
Oh
Okay, on
yeah.
the flip side of that, what pisses you off?
People, and there's a lot of this now, and I know there always was, but there seems to be a lot more now, which is uh, people judge others by their bank account.
Mm,
They judge themselves by their bank account. Um, I succeeded never thinking about that. I never thought about that. I thought about succeeding at my job and being proud of myself at the end of the day for what I accomplished, not for what I earned. And
right. That's a
and
very good
so I spent
distinction.
about 30 years not making a lot of money,
Hmm.
but I acquired the skills and the relationships and the contacts that made it possible for me to get in those higher tiers.
Right.
And and I didn't have to claw my way up, but it took time. It took a lot of time.
Right. I like that distinction, accomplished versus earned. I think that is absolutely brilliant.
Yep.
Okay, let's see what we have next here. Oh, what do you want women to know about men?
Oh, yes. We're very simple. Secret. We're simple-minded. I mean, almost to the point of stupid. Um, we don't complicate. We have direct lines with no detours. And I get it. That can be enraging. And we always want to fix it, which does not go over well sometimes with women. I get it. They don't want it fixed. They just want you to listen.
Yeah,
Shh,
that's
shut your
true.
mouth and listen.
Yes.
And that's sometimes where a clash happens. We want to make it better, um,
Well,
but you
that's a
can't.
very tender, loving response to want to make it
Yeah,
better. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, all
but
those
but
points are
uh,
well taken.
but pick your time. Pick the
Right.
time. Yeah.
What advice would you give to a son or a young man about becoming a man?
Yeah, decency at all times.
Mm,
Honesty, and that's something that we're losing in our
hmm.
culture. Honesty always, people first. And a mentor of mine in the speaking business, the wonderful Patricia Fripp, her father gave her a piece of advice that I think is some of the best advice I've ever heard,
Mm,
which is become the person people want to do business with.
mm,
And in the modern world, everybody wants to be a brand. I never heard that growing up. Everybody wants to be a brand. Don't be a brand. Be a person.
mm.
And that will be your brand. Okay?
Right.
Just be a
Yes.
person.
Who you are.
Yeah.
Very similar to what you just said. Then this phrase has stuck with me for over 10 years. Become who you already are.
Yeah.
That idea of, like we were talking about earlier, figuring out who you are and your, what makes you tick. And I think all those things are necessary if you want to grow and evolve and reach and stretch, which I'm interested in. It sounds like you are too. I mean, people who want to just sort of stay stuck and settle. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just a shame.
Yeah. You know, you and I were old fashioned. Okay, let's just accept that we're old fashioned. But I this idea of being a brand, you know, I'm not a label. Um, I hopefully I run a little deeper than that, and I want people to, if people could return to being a little deeper than a label, a brand.
Right. That's a good point. Is there anything that you want to say in conclusion?
Well, I just want to circle back to know what you really want, and that's really hard. And the founder of Toyota, he had a very simple way to really get to the bottom of things, and it comes to 5 questions. So you ask yourself, what do you want? And you give an answer. This is what I want. And then you ask yourself, well, what does that look like? And then that gets hard to describe. Okay, okay, all right. And what does that look like? And then
Mm,
that gets hard to describe. And then how do you get there?
mm,
And that can get a little hard to describe. And then what does that look like? And if you keep digging, 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 and as I say, this is difficult, but you finally get to hopefully what it is you really want.
mm,
Because if you ask a person that, usually it's something very superficial. I,
mm.
w- I want a Mercedes. I want a Maserati. No, you don't. Because that Maserati represents something that you really want.
Ah,
And
symbolic.
that represents something that you really want,
Mm.
which represents something that you really want.
Wow, it's such a simple line of questioning, and yet you can take it so deep to really
Yeah.
get to the heart of the thing
Yeah.
to really discover. I like that.
Yeah.
I like
And maybe at the end you end up, I want to be loved. You know, I maybe something as basic as that.
right. I think people often will say, I just want to be happy, or I just want my kids to be happy. And I just,
Okay. What does
that's
that
not,
look like?
yeah, but it's not something that resonates with me because I think
Yeah.
being happy is so superficial and so, I don't want to say overrated because of course we want to have a sense of
Hmm.
pleasure and a sense of
Yeah.
enjoyment, but it's so temporary, it's so
Yes.
transitory. It's
And
not, there's no depth there.
and what makes you happy? Is
Right,
it money? Really? And what can you do with that money that makes you happy? And
right,
why does that make you happy? I mean, and you
right.
keep
You take
digging,
it,
digging, digging, digging.
right. You just you pick it apart and
Yeah.
figure out about the motivation and what's really at the core of the whole thing. Well,
Yeah.
that's very good. So where can people find you, Carl? People who want to.
Well, I have a couple places to find me. First of all, the consulting company that my partner and I have, Douglas Bowers, we can easily be found at the Alpha Dogs Group at gmail.com. And you can get me personally at carl@carlwalshspeaks.com. Put something interesting in the subject line, and and I will get you. And if you do that, you can easily find me.
Right. Oh, that's great. And I love the name of that, the Alpha Dogs group. Is that what you said?
That's right.
Oh,
The Alpha Dogs Group at
fantastic.
gmail.com.
That's fantastic. Does that have a corresponding website or just strictly the email?
We do, and we're very new. We just put this together, so we're building that as we go. But you can get a lot of our podcasts there for the Oval Table. We also
Wonderful.
have a nice test that you can take there that will tell you what business personality you are. We have identified seven. And for a company, we want you to have as many of those seven personality types sitting around your oval table.
Oh, very good. That's very
Right.
interesting. Carl, you have so much insight and a lot of wisdom to share. There have been so many wonderful nuggets that I'm going to grab and hang on to and chew on and really enjoy. So I thank you for that, and I'm very grateful that we got to connect, and I thank you for this time.
Well, I thank you, and I love what you do, Rochelle. I think it's great. So keep on doing it.
Thank you, Carl. I appreciate that. Thank you.